He's the Midnight Raven, and you haven't seen me for a while. Obviously I've been on holiday recently, but I am back, and I thought I'd make a little video. So, between the 13th of May and the 19th of May, it is Mental Health Awareness Week. And as you well know, I have some mental health issues. I've been going to counseling, and I thought I would just do a quick update, kind of talky video to do with mental health. So, obviously, life as we know it hasn't exactly been like a, flowers and rainbows and unicorns. It's not been happy and jolly. We're no living in no Willy Wonka fantasy world. Every day is a struggle for me anyway. But you go back to the pandemic, we were in lockdown, everybody's mental health just plummeted. Not being able to see your family, not being able to leave the house, not being able to just live freely, I guess, within boundaries of, you know, certain things that are acceptable to do and not do. And we became officially robots, being in a house all the time, told you can only leave to do this and leave to do that. And it does play on your mind. There were the people that also lost their jobs or were put on hiatus. My son was one of them. He was currently working at the time, and when the pandemic hit, he was put on hiatus from work, and then eventually he lost his job. Um, he then got a job elsewhere, but it was the toll on everybody back then, told you couldn't see your family, you couldn't see your loved ones, you couldn't leave the house. Some of us couldn't go to work. You know, it became a minefield, and the pain, the suffering, although you probably didn't see it visually on people, people were struggling mentally. Being told you can't leave your house for more than like half hour a day. You can't leave your house for more than an hour a day to do a walk. Some people are used to being out of their houses 10, 12 hours a day when they go to work and commuting. And then to be told you can only leave your house for like an hour a day. Or if you have a doctor's appointment, you can leave, but then you're straight back home. And then you can only go for an hour's walk because you've got to give everybody the opportunity to leave their house. And you can't be in so far distance of somebody. And just a mind boggling um, amount of stress and pressure that we all felt back then. And the thing is that pressure and the stress, and some people being in constantly, the scariness of germs, because COVID obviously, unfortunately, did take a lot of people's lives, um, and still continues to. I've had COVID not once but twice. And the mental health aspects, although the COVID has died down, the mental health aspects from COVID, the stress of being indoors constantly or the stress of losing your job. Obviously, there were the dangers of like physical and mental abuse from people that couldn't leave their houses. And some people, unfortunately, did die from COVID, and I'm sure there were many, many other situations that went under the radar with the whole being in the house constantly, like words I can't say on YouTube. And it became a sticky situation for everybody. Nobody is designed to live with somebody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. No one is designed to like live in each other's pockets. The way a family functions is some of us go to work, some of us stay home, and then you see each other, bits and pieces. You're not in each other's pockets 24 hours a day, because I don't know about you, but it can be draining. You love your family and everything, but being with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, only leaving them for an hour, it could be draining on somebody, especially if you have a big family, or it was even more draining on people that live alone. People that lived alone were told they literally could go out for a walk 1 hour a day, or go to the shop, or come back, or go to a doctor's appointment, and that was it. That was your contact with your family for, I want to say, nearly 18 months, 2 years, when we had the severe bits. And the mental health repercussions from that are just horrendous. Some people don't want to go out because they were too scared to get COVID. Some people were now comfortable being in and don't want to go out. Other people had obviously other situations going on within the COVID thing, being in the house all the time, getting on each other's nerves, arguments. I'm sure a lot of divorces came from the pandemic. Obviously, there was probably other situations that I can't talk about. I became single during the pandemic. Um, and a lot of other things, everything snowballs. A little thing turned into a big thing, and then it was a worldwide thing. And then there were obviously other mental health things. But in recent years, this was one of the things that set the catalyst off for mental health really drawing awareness in people, you know. And then obviously you've got things like the war in Ukraine and stuff like that that can bring your mental health, especially if you've got family over there and stuff. And you've got protests going on everywhere for the oil thing, and you've got protests going on for this, that, and the other. And the stress living at the minute with the cost of living and the price increases, the amount of people that are losing their jobs are being cut left, right, and center because people just can't afford to pay them. I personally have lost my job. My store closed. The company hasn't closed, but my store did, you know, and the mental health of losing your job and the stresses of life. My son's currently doing his GCSEs. I've currently lost my job. I'm receiving counseling for manner of things. Life is all a bit much. Not just for me, we're talking worldwide. There are lots of people who are losing their jobs. Things are just too expensive. Just eating becomes a daily struggle. Thank God we don't have to heat our houses at the minute because we're heading towards summer. But I cannot imagine the electric bills that are coming this winter. They must be astronomical. Um, and just everything, just the price of everything, just literally going out for a bottle of milk and bread are just ridiculous. And the stress it puts on you to provide for your family, to go to work, petrol prices, it's everything. And everyone's mental health is different. I personally have counseling for my mental health. I go to a counselor every month. You may not, unfortunately, be so lucky. Um, but it can be a dark place wherever you are. If you have, you know, concerns, issues, problems,